I think Angie Stone was taken out. I don't really know who she is, but I think she sold out. I think a lot of people sell out. And so I think when you...
Jenny, so for the past years now, years and years and years, a lot of celebrities have been passing away under strange circumstances.
The thing that's really suspicious with Brittany Murphy's death is she had the same coroner as Kim.
Gut instinct that this plane was not safe. Now, after this interview that Mary J. Blige did with BET, she actually went on Oprah and did an interview, and she said that Aaliyah's death is one of the reasons why she got...
American celebrity couple Jay-Z and Beyonce have purchased their own private island in the Bahamas. Small island north of Walker's Key in the Abacos for just under $3 million. There is a natural harbor on the west side of the island, and the island can accommodate an airstrip of at least 5,000 feet.
The plane
being the artist that I am at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you. Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all paid. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just...
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. So for the past years now, years and years and years, a lot of celebrities have been passing away under strange circumstances. And a lot of the time it's usually right before they drop a major project or a major album or major movie or whatever, because then now the buzz is going to be very, very out there, especially because they have passed away. And plus this was their last legacy or their last movie. So therefore it's going to be worth more. But in my opinion, they have tried so hard, the powers that be, although we don't know who they are, allegedly, this is all for entertainment purposes only. A lot of celebrities have been passing away under strange circumstances, but they tried their best to make it seem as though you're not seeing what you're seeing. The questions that you have about how this thing can actually possibly happen to this person, it's not true. You know, that's like something, God forbid, happened to Britney Spears and all of a sudden, oh, she just woke up dead.
You know Angie Stone?
No.
Okay, she just died, right? And before she died, she was speaking out about how Universal Records owes her a lot of money. Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, all these people who created a catalog that's worth billions, they barely getting by. Eventually, you look at your circumstances and you can't take care of your loved ones, and it's like, wow, I'm supposed to be worth billions. Like, where's all my money? And you get to the point you want to stand up and try to fight for your money, and it's like, why when they stand up? Why when R. Kelly wanted his money, why was he indicted? You know what I mean? Why when Angie Stone tried to fight for her money, she died? Why when Whitney Houston wanted her money, she died? Why when Prince started talking about this stuff, he died? Eventually, people got to start reading between those lines and see that there's something going on behind the scenes.
Angie Stone passing away. It's crazy when somebody can tell you that, and she told a lot of people, that people are trying to kill her. She made those statements 2 weeks before she died. Angie Stone said to people around her, she was in fear of her life. And that happened because she found out that she had a lot of money in this publishing and this music game that she had not been able to recoup. So she was doing an audit to recoup the money in which these music record companies owed her throughout the years for songs she had written. And then she comes up dead, and they try to say that she was hit by
I think Angie Stone was taken out. I don't really know who she is, but I think she sold out. I think a lot of people sell out. And so I think when you sell out, they're going to come for you. That's it. You're not going to get, trust me, you want a Bugatti, like Andrew Tate, you want this, you want to be a big famous person, you will never get it. You will not get your money to spend. You will not have it. They'll kill your child. They'll kill, like Kanye, your mother. They'll fuck up your family. They'll invert them. And if you don't sacrifice somebody, then you have to transgender your kids. That's kind of how it works. I'm not doing either because I don't need your money that bad. So no thanks. It's terrible. Oh my God. I know. No, but it's true. That's what happens. You don't think these people are so famous for no reason. They just pop up out of nowhere. And then suddenly, Joan Rivers was murdered. And I'm going to tell you that story. So I don't have permission to tell a story, but I'm going to tell you the story.
I find it very suspicious that Angie Stone just uploaded a video right before she passed that's basically called out Universal Music Group for not paying her royalties, y'all. She said she should have retired 20 years ago, but because UMG decided not to pay her royalties that they owe her, that she has to work an extra 20 years, and that is the reason she was on the road today. She was on the way to a work gig. Y'all, this is sad. I'm going to play the video, and y'all let me know what you think.
Doing now is whatever is necessary to make sure they pay me for the legacy.
They weren't paying her royalties for the past 10 years, 20 years.
Grandchildren. They're going to have to give me my money. I mean, when you sit back and think Bruno Mars, Dr. Dre, when you think about all these people that have sampled music, if they're filthy rich on it, what's our problem? Or my problem? I have to give up my coins. And so what I'm doing now is whatever is necessary to make sure.
She had posted this right before, y'all, literally a couple days ago.
Grandchildren, they're going to have to give me my money.
So while doing my research for this video, I came across an interview of Mary J. Blige right after the Aaliyah accident happened, and she clearly stated that it was a spiritual death, and we'll talk about that later on. But you can tell that she knew something was going to happen.
Mary J. Blige alleged that Aaliyah was murdered. In an old BET interview, she explained that Aaliyah was murdered, and she said that you should always follow your gut instinct. And we know that Aaliyah had the gut instinct that this plane was not safe. Now, after this interview that Mary J. Blige did with BET, she actually went on Oprah and did an interview, and she said that Aaliyah's death is one of the reasons why she got sober. She said she was surrounded by people who were not telling her the real deal, and she could have very well been the woman on that plane. And this is not where Mary J. Blige stops. She goes on to do an interview with The Guardian where she says, "I don't know how or when, but I am next. I don't know what kind of freak accident they are going to put me in or what kind of overdose they're going to sort out, but at the end of the day, I knew I was next and I was scared." So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of Mary J. Blige alleging that Aaliyah was murdered, and you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
The memory of Aaliyah.
Yeah, this is my crew. You know, we put, you know, the stylist we gave everybody red engine. This, I don't even know what to say. I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not. Because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof, you know what I'm saying, for what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair. And it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I believe it wasn't her time to go because from what I know, it ain't supposed to go down like that. And just simple obedience, like, you know, your gut always warns you. That your gut never lies to you.
She was unconscious. She didn't choose to get on that plane. There were phone calls made. There are witnesses who signed NDAs. Why would you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement about a plane crash?
American celebrity couple Jay-Z and Beyonce have purchased their own private island in the Bahamas. Small island north of Walker's Key in the Abacos for just under $3 million. There is a natural harbor on the west side of the island, and the island can accommodate an airstrip of at least 5,000 feet.
The plane crashed only 200 feet from the end of the runway in Marsh Harbor, which is in the Abacos.
Now, this might be far-fetched, but for me, nothing is too far-fetched for me. Anyways, why did Jay-Z and Beyonce have to go buy a land there? I mean, first of all, there's already this conspiracy theory of allegedly, this is for a video purpose only, that something had to do with the death of Aaliyah. Someone very close have to do with the death of Aaliyah, allegedly. We don't know this to be true, but it has been going around for ages. And out of this big world, you chose to buy that same exact land, like at least close to it, that same exact land. You know how when you pass in a place, your soul get trapped there because sometimes you just can't comprehend the fact that you passed, right? So you're stuck, confused. So the soul is trapped there. Why we keep?
Did you know every single time Beyonce begins one of her world tours, a massive music icon dies? This theory begins with the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Beyonce embarked on her I Am Sasha Fierce World Tour starting in March 2009, and Michael Jackson died in June 2009. Right when Beyonce announced her The Miss Carter Show World Tour in 2012. The Queen of Disco, Donna Summers, died. Then right before embarking on that same world tour, Queen of Vocals, Whitney Houston, died. It gets crazier because in June 2014, when Beyonce and Jay-Z began their On the Run world tour, legend of soul music, Bobby Womack, died in June 2014. Literally, right as Beyonce began her Formation world tour in April 2016. Prince died also in April 2016, right after Beyonce and Jay-Z began their On the Run to world tour in June 2018. Queen of Soul. Aretha Franklin dies in August 2018. Seeing her pay tribute to a falling music icon at each of her tours is getting a little bit eerie. And the craziest part is that fans were already predicting who was going to be next, right when the Renaissance tour was announced. Beyonce began her Renaissance World Tour in May 2023, and Tina Turner died in May. And right on cue, Beyonce paid tribute to her. People are asking Beyonce to stop touring.
In J. Cole's song She Knows, he mentions Aaliyah, Michael Jackson, Left Eye. This is how they're all connected. Right before he says rest in peace to these three, he says the only bad thing about a star is their burnout. Michael Jackson was filming a commercial for Pepsi when the pyrotechnics malfunctioned and set his hair on fire. He suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns to his scalp and face, exposing part of his skull, and had to undergo reconstructive surgery to hide all the marks from the burnout. And when Michael later died, the first 2 people at the scene was the doctor that unalived him and his head of security, Fahim, which just so happened to be Diddy's head of security too. But Aaliyah's burnup was a little different.
However, what you don't see in the footage is that the crash was so bad that the car rolled several times after hitting 2 trees before coming to rest in a ditch. What you also don't see is that in the process, Lisa and the rest of the people in the car were forcefully ejected from the car through their windows, and that Lisa was actually found under the car. When the autopsy results came in, it was discovered that Lisa had died almost instantly from a fracture of the base of the cranium and open cerebral trauma. However, the autopsy also revealed that Lisa was not under the influence. She was fit and aware of her surroundings, and there was nothing in her system that could have made her sloppy or slow to respond to emergencies. So this raised a lot of questions because there were so many things that didn't add up about the crash scene, because on top of Lisa being sober and fit, you also have to remember that at the time, Lisa was driving in broad daylight on some quiet country road. So it was highly unlikely that she had been speeding or that there was so much traffic that she didn't notice oncoming vehicles. Investigators also discovered that there wasn't anything wrong with the car mechanically. So the brakes were intact, the accelerator was good, and the mirrors were complete. They just couldn't find anything physically at the crash site that could explain why the accident happened. And this is where Lisa's entanglement with Tupac comes in, because one of the running theories about her death is that her relationship with Tupac is allegedly one of the reasons why she had problems with Diddy, who fancied Lisa. As y'all know, Diddy and TLC, which obviously included Lisa, had a long-standing beef with Diddy and Clive Davis, which even escalated to the point of threats at some point. To give you a little context, TLC was signed to Layface Records in 1991, which was a collaboration between Babyface, L.A. Reid, and Clive Davis's Arista Records. So Clive's Arista Records handled much of TLC's promotion, releases, and business aspects. Now, at the time when TLC was getting signed to Layface Records in 1991, they were all still pretty young and didn't really know how to examine their contract and get themselves a good deal. So the contract they signed only benefited the record label to the extent that the girls had to file for bankruptcy at some point. After they released their first 2 albums, TLC expected to make a chunk of change because they did really well on the market, even winning them 2 Grammys in 1996 for Best R&B R&B Album and Best R&B Song. However, despite all that, the girls revealed during the press conference that their pockets were drier than the Sahara. They had hoped to get a better deal from LaFace since they were so commercially successful, and now that the girls were older and wiser, they knew the label was ripping them off big time. However, the big guns didn't even want to listen to them or discuss the contract, so at some point they decided to take matters into their own hands.
TLC hold Arista hostage. The record company, Clive Davis, we held them hostage like guns, the whole shebang. Yeah, it was like that. Because,
wait a minute. I want to make sure we understand.
Yes.
Guns?
Yes, guns.
With bullets?
With bullets.
Come on, give me the story,
I'm going to tell
baby.
you because TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million and they gave us $50,000 a piece. So I was like, what the hell? So, of course, Lisa was the ringleader.
Like, we need to go get our money. I need to know where my MF and money's at.
So, you know, she was locked up in the diversion center for burning down the house. And she was just like,
okay, we gonna get LaFace and them girls I was locked up with. We gonna drive up there. We gonna take the guns.
And then we had this limo driver.
Wait, she just got out of jail?
Yes.
Okay.
And we had the limo driver. And he was the getaway car. So we went up there and held everybody hostage, and Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, yo, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo. And I was like, oh, Puff, why you gonna snitch us out, dog? But he called it, yeah, because we kicked him out of the meeting.
Well, wait a minute.
According to Chili, Lisa was the ringleader of this whole operation, and Clive didn't like it at all. The running theory is that after Diddy snitched on the girls, Clive must have told him how upset and embarrassed he was about the whole ordeal, and Diddy, in turn, added it to his list of grievances against Lisa. You know, Lisa, at this point, had gotten much smarter than she was when she and her bandmates were taken advantage of, so Clive must have seen that as a problem because you can't take advantage of people who know what they're doing. Lisa even took things further by leaving TLC and going solo, during which she would release her album, Supernova. Then, in 2002, she broke ties with Arista and signed with Suge Knight's Death Row Records. Obviously, there was a lot of tension between Lisa, Clive Davis, and Diddy, so it's just a theory, but it makes sense that certain people in executive positions wanted Lisa out because she was becoming a problem to them.
Detroit rapper Deshaun Dupree Holpin, better known as Proof, made songs and starred in a music video which gravely reflected his future. In the 2004 music video were Eminem's Like Toy Soldiers, addressing violence in the hip-hop community. Proof played a major role, as the video depicts him losing his life. Then, in the track Kurt Cobain of Proof's final album, he said, "I'd die for him and save Haley Brave maybe, but just let them tears roll off my grave, Shady." In fact, death was a major theme in that final album, titled Searching for Jerry Garcia. For instance, in the song Bebo's theme, Proof said, "Plot with haters, they kill me on my block for later. Ayo God, here I come, tell Tupac to wait up." 8 months after the album's release, on April 11, 2006, Proof passed after an altercation at the 3C Club on 8 Mile in Detroit.
Sony, being the artist that I am, at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing, and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them.
Yeah!
So, we can't let them get away with what they're trying to do, because now I'm a free agent. I just owe Sony one more album. It's just a box set, really. It's with 2 new songs, which I've written ages ago. Because every album that I record, I write, like, literally, I'm telling you the truth, I write at least 120 songs every album I do. So I can do the box set and just give them any 2 songs. So I'm leaving Sony a free agent, owning half of Sony. So I own half of Sony's, and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me because of it. But I just I just did good business, you know.
Tell him! Say it, Michael. Tell the story.
But, so, the way they get revenge is to try and destroy my album. But I've always said, you know, good art never dies. Thank you. I love Unbreakable. You know, turn that off, please. No, what? I don't mind. Tape it.
Oh! Michael is getting gangster today! Yeah.
Mariah Carey, after divorcing Tommy, came to me crying. She was crying so badly I had to hold her. And she said to me that this is an evil man. And Michael, this man follows me, she said. He taps her phones. And he's very, very evil, and she doesn't trust him. And he is a horrible human being. And we have to continue our drive until he's terminated.
Oh! There you go!
We can't allow him to do this to great artistry. We just can't. I just want you to know I appreciate everything you've done. You've been amazing. You're so loyal, Diana. Everybody, Waldo, all the people here, I love you all. You've been amazing.
Thank you!
I love you.
What was allowed to happen to Whitney and Michael and Prince was disgusting. It was terrible. It was awful. And all of the people who signed up to help these nasty campaigns, and I'm going to say this right here and right now, what you did to Monique Oprah was terrible. But what you did to the legacy of Michael Jackson was 10 times worse. To sit there to pretend to be his friend on camera. But I mean, you kind of did the same thing with Luther Vandross when you humiliated him on his deathbed. When you brought everyone into his hospital room so that they could see him at his weakest, at his most awful, at his most terrible, and then do nothing to support his legacy or his catalog when he passed away. That's the kind of friend you are. But what you did to Michael Jackson and his legacy, after those boys had already recanted their story and forced to say that he had done something to him, then you want to bring them back to encourage them to say the opposite, to hurt the auction. Like you're beyond a culture vulture. You're beyond that. Has anyone even asked her to explain what happened to all of those girls that went missing in that school in Africa? Like she gets away with a lot.
Michael Jackson had revealed everything before he died. See what he said in this video.
I don't know if I should tell you this, but I don't know who may be listening. There may be a group of people that want to get rid of me. They don't want me here anymore.
I don't understand it. What do you mean? Talk to me.
I can't talk about it. Over the phone. I don't know.
He seemed to be aware of a sinister plan that was already in motion. His words resonate as a warning, but who were they? And what exactly did Michael know that could have cost him his life? The questions keep coming. What else is hidden in this recording? Did Michael know the fate that awaited him? The truth may be more shocking than we imagined. Want to know what comes next? Follow and comment Michael for part 2 and discover the next details of this chilling story.
Before Thriller, and that is the timing that he keeps pointing out to me, there was some sort of arrangement made with him where, and I'm seeing this, he's asleep on this couch When he wakes up, there is a man there. Now, I do recognize the man that's standing over him, and I will just say he's the one that threw the party around Whitney Houston when she was laying dead upstairs at the Beverly Hills Hotel. He continued on with the party because he didn't want to interrupt his party. So I'm speaking about that same Clive Davis. I'm seeing his face, and I'm seeing him look at Michael Jackson, and I'm seeing this arrangement go on. I'm seeing something handed to Michael, and I'm seeing him look at it, and suddenly he's under the impression that this is who he is. But it isn't him, because he's showing me he's split. He's split like twins. He's split into two different directions. He walks with himself, but is not himself. He keeps saying this to me. When I hear people speak along those lines of thinking, what usually it's in reference to is when somebody has made a deal to make a lot of money, or to marry a certain person, or to get a certain job established in society. They've done this and they've kind of sold out. My mind is being switched to Michael Jackson's death. And here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to get right to the point. Michael Jackson is showing me really strongly that he did not die from the drug overdose that they suggest that he died from. Okay, so they tried to make him into this closet medicated drug addict. He's pissed about that because that is not how he died. He didn't trust them. He didn't want to trust them. They took him out, and by they, I'm not sure who he means yet, but what he's saying to me is he did not die from propofol the way that they said. He's kind of giving me the face like, do you really think that I had somebody come and put an anesthetic into my body and trusted them when I'm such a control person? He's basically saying to me that that's not something he allowed them to put in his body. So there's knowledge that isn't there about that, is what he's saying to me. The other thing that I'm being shown is up until the point that he passed, and I'm talking probably the 3 years prior to his passing, he was on vigilant hyper guard, like who's trying to take me out? He trusted no one. What he is saying to me is he's asking me a question. Who would benefit from him not doing those tours and not being able to perform? Who would benefit? He's saying who would benefit. So there was insurance on Michael Jackson, highest paid performer. He was going to go out and do those shows. So he's asking me to look at the people that booked him on those shows, and he's asking me to look at the insurance company, and he's saying to me, do you think I'm going to take propofol on purpose after signing that document? Michael Jackson had a will. The will was shifted after his death. At the point of his death, now this is how I'm being made to feel again, at the point of his death, the sales record goes up, the money goes up, the money lost in the tour tickets explodes. The machine, as he puts it, was invested in continuing the money flow generated by his name. What better way to do that than to have him pass away? And
Michael was killed at 2 o'clock in the morning from a laser. And then 4 days later, they go into the house and find this bloody shirt of Michael's. And then understand it's like $450,000 worth of jewelry and cash missing.
I thought it was because of the Sony thing. They wanted, I believe there was some.
But that's because you don't have the information.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
I said he was killed by a laser. Huh? I just told you it was a bloody shirt and the money. Just public, all you gotta do is go look it up. Huh? I didn't come here to find out what you think.
No, I'm just asking about
No, you didn't. You say you thought. I'm not interviewing you. You interviewing me. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Huh? But you go do it. I respect who you gonna be. So don't sit here and tell me you thought it was the Sony thing. Huh? Okay. What was the Sony thing about? Tell my grandmother.
Well, my understanding was that he was gonna get the Beatles catalog. And
he already had it. Huh?
Okay.
He bought the Beatles catalog when his people told him don't buy it. He bought it for $48 million. When they killed him, it was worth $2.5 billion. Huh? We sitting here with respect for one. I don't want to hear what you thought. I saw the check, nigga. Huh? So I got to sit here what you thought. Who cares? Huh? That's all I'm saying.
Do you know Michael Jackson owned 50% of Sony Records?
Michael Jackson owned the Beatles catalog, which made him 50% owner of Sony Records. Sony Records said, oh, no way. We can't let a Negro own half of this, even if he's the #1 selling artist of all time. So Michael Jackson's album Invincible comes out, and what does Sony do? They give him no promotion. They sabotage Invincible to make sure Michael Jackson goes into debt. And then they come back to Michael and say, you're in debt, Michael. You owe us a couple mil. Give us the Beatles music. Michael says, no. I'm going to have a concert, raise the money to pay y'all off. You're never getting the catalog. Michael Jackson made one mistake. He was living in Dubai with his brother. He decided to come back to the Staples Center to perform. Fatal mistake. Mike should have stayed over there until the concerts were done. He came back to LA. They sent Conrad the brother who murdered him, I forget his name, the black doctor, Conrad Murray. I think he did, 5 years? He's home, and he will be comfortable for the rest of his life for keeping his mouth shut.
I said he was killed by a laser. Huh? I just told you it was a bloody shirt and the money. Just public, all you gotta do is go look it up. Huh? Okay. I didn't come here to find out what you think.
No, I'm just asking about
No, you didn't. You said you thought. I'm not interviewing you. You interviewing me. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
Huh? So now the trial's over that day. We go home. He holds me, feel like an animal, clawing me. Crack, they're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me, I know. When the last time he said, pause me. When the last time you drank some water, I said, okay, here's the problem we got. I got to slip you out of here today and take you to the hospital. Now they'll get, Michael, am I smarter than you? Shut up. What we'll do is get a driver and we're going to San Francisco to see a friend. What he didn't know is once we got out the house, when you saw that H for hospital, that's where I was going. I didn't know where, nobody know we coming. So we go there. 5 o'clock that evening. Michael Jackson. Dehydrated. 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock the next morning, they're still putting water in him. The doctor said, thank God for you. Because he'd have been dead. That's how dried up he was. Okay? I know him. Huh? I know him. I know what it's about. Not about Sony. He already had it. Already had it. Okay? And the old punk doctor, he didn't know nothing about it. When he's on the 911, they said, what's that? I don't know. You know the address. This is a game. The most powerful human being on the planet, entertainer. They say he ain't lost his license. He's still practicing.
So, something fishy there.
And Tommy Mottola is a devil. I'm not supposed to say what I'm going to say right now, but I have to let you in on a secret.
Say it.
So, please don't videotape what I'm going to say, okay? Because the companies take advantage of them. They really do. And Sony, being the artist that I am, at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer myself would outthink them.
Yeah.
So we can't let them get away with what they're trying to do because. Now I'm a free agent. I just owe Sony one more album. It's just a box set, really. It's with 2 new songs, which I've written ages ago. Because every album that I record, I write, like, literally, I'm telling you the truth, I write at least 120 songs every album I do. So I can do the box set and just give them any 2 songs. So I'm leaving Sony a free agent, owning half of Sony. So I own half of Sony's, and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me because of it. But I just did good business, you know.
I want to ask you, if I may, about the loss of Tupac.
The thing that's really suspicious with Brittany Murphy's death is she had the same coroner as Kim Porter. His name was Ed Winters, and he also did Paul Walker's, Whitney Houston's, Tom Petty's, and Michael Jackson's autopsies. He ended up dying before Kim Porter's second autopsy.
The coroner did?
The coroner died between Kim Porter's first and second autopsies.
Super weird.
Yeah, it's super, super weird.
One of the funniest things to me is that it be people who ain't never thought about a deep thought a day in their life will call conspiracy theorists crazy and dumb. But all a conspiracy theorist is somebody who likes to do their own research on things and find out the truth for themselves instead of just listening to what somebody told them the truth was. Isn't that what a brain was meant for? You have 100 billion neurons. You don't know how to think for yourself. You don't know how to do your own research, find out the truth for yourself. And it really be people who ain't never thought about a deep thing a day in their life that will call a conspiracy theorist crazy or dumb. That shit utterly perplexes and baffles me. That shit is so fucking stupid. Don't get me wrong, some conspiracy theories, they fucking out there. They fucking wild as hell. But it's the fact of the matter that life itself is crazy and wild and out there. You're a human being right now. Your heart is beating without you even having to think about it. You thinking about it now because I mentioned it. You're breathing right now. You're not even thinking about it. Now you're thinking about it because I mentioned it. There's hundreds of thousands of species of animals and bugs and sea life and like this shit is strange. Life ain't normal. This shit is very fucking weird. So why would you ever always be thinking normal? You think everything is what meets the eye? You really believe it? In this world we live in? Y'all like that Transformers reference?
So when Mary J. Blige was doing the interview and she said that Aaliyah was at her prime and she was so talented, you know, right when she was about to take off, that's when this happened, that allegedly, according to Mary J. Blige, it was a spiritual death. And she sounded so sad about what happened and how, like, you know, she ended up quitting substance abuse because she wanted to be more alert and more aware because the people around them are not really necessarily being honest with them, because those people are like yes man to everything, because at the end of the day those are the people who they're paying the bills of these people. So therefore they're not going to tell them no, they're not going to tell them, hey, I don't think this is the right choice I should be making today, because those people like Aaliyah, those are her, she's the boss of the people who work around her entourage and, you know, the handlers, right? And in my opinion, Mary J. Blige says that because she knows that, you know, any of these people could have give her the thing that she took, you know, for her to fall asleep, right? And even though they know, they could have known, we don't know if they know, but they could have known that it was laced, but they can't tell her anything, and or the people who are above them or above them and above Aaliyah basically probably gave them this and said, look, make sure she takes this or else you're next. You know what I mean? So therefore they have to do the job that they are here to do as handlers. And in my opinion, a lot of the celebrities who are famous, majority of the time they're probably sleeping with one eyes open. That is the reason why they get so deep into like Uggs and alcohol and all of that, because they feel like they cannot trust anyone, right? So in my opinion, a lot of them knows who is up next, so therefore they have to go according to the program. So they have to, you know, act as though they didn't know what was happening. They have to act as though, you know, they're so sad about what's happening. But from how these people operate, I feel like only the person who's going to be the lamb don't know what is about to happen. So I don't know if you guys saw the video that I made about, celebrity sacrifices, where this one lady said that she was going to be the sacrifice. Like, they literally dress her up according to the color and according to the sacrifice that's going to happen. Everyone around her knew what was about to happen except for her. And she only escape out of that, by a hair, because she was listening to her intuition, and she was basically a blessed person and or protected by her ancestors or her family lineage powers, that were able to protect her in the physical for her to not have to deal with that. And when I said, when Marriage Oblige says, oh, it was a spiritual death, that's exactly what that means. Because at the end of the day, something could have happened to her and to that person that was driving the helicopter or the plane that she was involved in, and also Angie Stone, the car that she was involved in the car accident with. It doesn't necessarily mean like they tapped with, because it could also happen that they played with the brake of her car, and or also they played with the engine of the plane or something. But also these things could also happen in the physical, not the physical, but the spiritual. So someone could be working behind the scenes while you're living your life, thinking that you have so many years to live your life, but at the same time someone is doing something shady behind the scene magically. And that, when it goes so deep like this, and when it's so powerful like this, that could be considered left-hand path and or black magic, right? But I also don't use the word black magic because people use it, interchangeably based on what is more beneficial for them. And a lot of the time they like to correlate black magic with like black people, Haitians, doing voodoo and all that stuff. But black magic, anyone can do black magic. If you're doing black magic or left-hand path, which is what I like to call it, left-hand path, to harm someone and to interfere with somebody else's life and even unaliving that person, that could be considered left-hand path instead of black magic, where people look at it, so evil and demonic, because you could also do black magic for good and not just for bad, So that's just my little take on that. But when I talk about the spiritual, doing something in the spiritual, you could be sitting like this and someone wants to unalive you, and they take your picture and something that belongs to you, which is a link, which I talk about in the sacrifice video of celebrities being sacrificed. They can simply just take something that's linked to you, to a practitioner, and say, look, I want a death spell on this person, and that could happen to you. You can be in a different state and it can happen to you. So it's very possible that if they want this to happen, they can make it happen. These are people who have money, and not to say any and everyone has the power to do that, but if you have the proper deities and the proper warlocks and practitioners working behind you and their spirits, it can very much happen. And a lot of time that celebrities are unalived, it's a lot of time they will say, oh, I was seeing things, I was experiencing dark psychic attack and all this stuff. This happens all the time. People go to sleep and they experience psychic attack in their dreams. You think it's because oh, you're just having a bad dream. A lot of times people are doing that shit to you and your sleep, and especially when you're trying to do some mental work, people will wait until like you're going to sleep, you're asleep, to do this to you, because your brain is at peace, your brain is at ease, and that's when you are in the spiritual realm, because you're sleeping. So therefore it's very possible. And with her being asleep, or them giving her something to fall asleep and this happened, is very telling. And the fact that she was very new and about to come out with her new projects and everything is also very telling. But a lot of celebrities have been going like this in multiple ways. Like, for example, Michael Jackson, his situation wasn't necessarily spiritual, but also someone was placed there to unalive him. So all of his royalties and everything can go to the next of kin, which doesn't necessarily mean his children. It looks like the earth is like moving. But anyways, it won't necessarily go to his children, but the record label who basically signed him, because everything really really belongs to the record label, who is getting all this money, and then they're distributing it to everyone, which the artists, the people who work on the project and all that stuff gets paid after. But then when the artist is not there, the person who's responsible of managing the money is going to be the one who has the money. So therefore, you know, they can give the money to the children if they want to, and or they can keep all that money to themselves and say, hey, your father didn't, you know, he signed this contract with that contract where it says that if he passed away, I'm the next person to be able to handle the money because I'm the part of the people who create the project, you know. So it's kind of, it's just a whole lot of celebrities have been unalived, and a lot of time too, the date that they have been unalived is used to harness the energy of the people. You remember how, like, when Biggie passed away, and then not Tupac, but Diddy dropped the but because he knew that the culture was going to appreciate it as if it was a Biggie song, but it wasn't a Biggie song. But you know how much money this man made from this song, allegedly, because he was harnessing the energy of the people who was mourning Biggie, and in return he was able to make money off of his death plus extra for years and years and years later. Till this day, people still listen to this music as if it's like a gospel song. You go to church and they listen to this song as if it's a gospel song, and the whole time it's a song about death. It's a song about mourning someone who have passed on, and one person is benefiting from this while somebody else had to lose their life for this person to benefit off of the song. So a lot of this is very spiritual. You just have to know what it is that you're seeing. That's why, like, celebrities drop albums during certain moon phase and or certain dates, because it harnessed the energy of the people and it tap into the energy of the spiritual realm, which usually a lot of time they'll use items that belong to someone who have passed away, like the Kardashians. They're obsessed with buying things that belong to dead people, right? And in my opinion, they tap in the energy of the people to be able to harness the energy and also pull on the heartstrings of the fans of that person, and also harnessing the energy of those people as well, because you know, you see that person chain and it remind you of the person that used to wear it, which you used to love, and now you're like, oh, you know, I love Kim because she's wearing this and she's showing the appreciation for the item that belonged to this dead person. So now you're giving her also the attention, you know. So it's really a battle for your attention, your subconscious. It's a battle for yourself, it's like a spiritual battle. Just look at it that way. The whole world runs on magic. And once you realize that, things are not going to affect you as they affect other people, because you know the truth. You know what the secret is. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. Bye. Like I said, we're going to touch up some stuff on this book. So in this book is called Spell of Abundance, Love, Wealth, and Protection. So in this book, on the first page, actually, I have a glamour affirmation that you will basically say, you stand in front of the mirror and you stare at yourself and you admire yourself, and you will say to yourself how beautiful you are. You'll basically seal your beauty, like your glam, after you've done your makeup, or even stand in front of the mirror naked with nothing on, so you can really reaffirm yourself of your beauty, of your confidence, and all that. This book is mainly for like self-confidence and self-elevation, you know, calling the goddess in you, calling the divinity in you, you know, calling the beauty in you, and also work with the moon, because the moon represents the woman, the mother, womb, water, all of this. So yeah, I have all the steps in here of all the spells that you need to do. It even has one to get rid of unwanted guests. It's pretty funny. To get rid of unwanted guests. And this book right here, right? So I'm gonna run down real quick of all the materials that you're going to need. You will need a brand new broom. It has to be brand new. And you'll need a piece of parchment paper, a black pen, a black trash bag, because we're going to get rid of this sucker, right? And of course your intentions. And also I have spells on here that you can say. I have daily affirmations. And also I have spells on here that you can do every single day to work with the energy of the planets of the day, and also the archangels that work with the day. So anyways, there's so many spells. There's a 7-day manifestation spell with archangels. And let's see. A 30-day money spell with bay leaves and the Fihu sign, which is a money sign. It's like an F with the extra part. Anyways, the symbol is there, and I even show you like what you need to do, what the sigil look like, all that, and the keys to enhance your spell. So there are different things on here on how to enhance your spell, and basically grow your finance, grow your love, self-love, self-admiration, chance to say to yourself to give you that extra energy to go about your day. And also it's tips to enhance your spell. Oh, I already said this. And morning coffee abundance prosperity spell. You guys remember I just shared a video about morning coffee and how important it is when it comes to hoodoo, and how you can basically use your first cup of coffee in the morning to manifest a better life or a better day, or to bring forth money to you. So don't let, you know, you're already doing these things anyway, so you might as well just incorporate something a little bit extra to basically boost your thing. And here's a to influence your boss spell. So this one, I'm sure people who are actually working are going to love this. It's to influence your boss and attract favors towards you at work. Because look, in this economy, we're all working and we need some boost at work, and we also sometimes need to be tied to our job, so therefore you don't get fired. You know what I mean? So there's some stuff that you could do to basically tie yourself to your job, and or tie the job to you. And once you're done and you're all tired of that job, you can get rid of it. It's not something that's completely permanent, but use magic, guys. It's here for you to use. You have the herbs in your closet, you have the herbs in your pantry, you have the candles that you could just simply buy some candles super cheap. Use magic to elevate your life. Use magic to make yourself better. Let me tell you, Jesus was out here using magic, okay? Walking on water and stuff and turning water into wine. Sounds like magic to me. But anyways, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.